Pollution-related smog covered parts of Metro Manila, raising health concerns from residents. Provinces surrounding the Taal volcano also experienced volcanic smog. But PHIVOLCS says there's no need to raise the alert level in the volcano just yet. The Trade Department says manufacturers are open to temporarily hold off price increases. But according to some, they have no choice but to comply, although production cuts could be a last resort. And in sports, Gilas Pilipinas escapes South Korea's Changwon LG Sakers in their tune-up game on Friday. But the national team continues to face uncertainty in its roster ahead of the Asian Games. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know to jumpstart your weekend. I'm Riza Diaz. It has been a hazy weekend in Metro Manila, but PAGASA says it's not caused by the volcanic smog in Taal. The details in this report.
It's smog, not fog. The State Weather Bureau makes this very clear as the skies in Metro Manila became hazy. PAGASA explains what the capital experienced was a combination of smoke and fog or smog. In these photos shot from a building in Don Bosco, Makati, smog blurred the view of the skyline. The same was observed in these pictures in Malate, Manila. Blurred view from an establishment was also noticed in Mandaluyong. Smog seemed to have swamped the buildings around Pasay City. Again, PAGASA says this has nothing to do with the carbon dioxide emissions now happening in Taal.
Sa pagtaya po ng PAGASA or base po ito sa datos ng PAGASA ay hindi po ito koneksyon sa volcanic activity po ng Taal. Ito ang pinagbasihan po namin o ng PAGASA ay yung direksyon po ng hangin.
PAGASA reiterates that smog appears when there is thermal inversion or when the warm air near the land surface gets trapped by the cool air.
Warm air po kasi o yung mainit na hangin po, tendency po niyan ay tumaas po or mag-rise. So mag-move dapat po siya pataas. Pero since yung pagtaas niya po ay or mas malamig po sa taas compare po dito sa ground, so hindi po makaakyat yung mainit na hangin po malapit sa ground.
This phenomenon also traps pollutants, which could affect those with respiratory problems.
If ever meron po tayong respiratory problems or may hika po, posibleng malanghap po yung maduming hangin na yon, so posible siya mag-cause ng sakit or mag-trigger po dun sa kanilang respiratory problem.
Arnel, who was on his way to work, chose to wear masks today after learning about the low air quality in the news.
Na-alert na rin ako. So, pati yung mga tao sa bahay, sinabi ko, bago lumabas, mag-mask talaga sila. Siyempre, ano rin sa bagay yan eh. Mahirap huminga, gano'n, lalo na sa mga may asthma, lalo na ngayon, siyempre, senior na ako, medyo front na ako sa mga ganyang.
Buen also wears one, protecting herself from possible effects of smog.
Medyo maalikabok, baka maka-affect sa health natin. So, kailangan talaga mag-mask.
As protection, PAGASA advised the wearing of masks. It also said that staying indoors decreases the chances of exposure to pollutants and smog.
Now, while many joke on social media about a repeat of early 2020, one health expert warns that ill effects from both fog and smog should be taken seriously. Philippine College of Physicians President Dr. Ronchin Solante told Sa Totoo Lang that inhaling either fog or smog can present health risk. That's why he is urging those affected to wear N95 masks, especially those with sensitive airways or have asthma. Rest and hydration is also important. Now, those with feeling chest pains should also consult a doctor immediately.
You have to rest, and then you have to call a doctor. You have to go to the nearest clinic or whatever na parang makabigay ng first aid or makatulong sa iyo na maka-connect sa iyo with a doctor or sa emergency room.
Meanwhile, PHIVOLCS Director Teresito Bacolcol clarified that Taal's fog emissions do not mean an imminent eruption. He adds that raising Taal's status to Alert Level 2 is not necessary at this point.
This is just yung kasama po ito sa steaming ng volcano. It's just that hindi siya makaangat because of thermal inversion. This will probably take a few more days according to PAGASA. Yung sa mag-i-stay lang talaga yung VOG in this, probably the same area, or hindi ma-disperse siya kasi kailangan natin ng hangin na ma-disperse. Probably take several more days.
Meanwhile, manufacturers are willing to hold off on price increases, according to the Trade Department. But some processed food makers are still trying to appeal their case. The DTI met with stakeholders on Friday to convince them to delay the 10 centavo to 7 peso hike on basic goods. Now, this proposed price increase covers commodities like canned goods, noodles, and coffee. Manufacturers of canned sardines and canned meat say they may be forced to cut production on SRP products.
For us to be told, sabi ko, masakit sa kalooban namin na we are being told, please suffer more losses until December by not increasing your prices. Ang mangyayari niyan, ang SRP products ang maapektuhan. Siguro magbabawas kami ng production. That's the only way I can see.
Manufacturers are also concerned about possible layoffs as a result of cutting down production. The Trade Department said some manufacturers are willing to absorb the bulk of rising costs, although it is likely that there will be more consultations on the matter before they arrive at a decision.
It will be a business decision, but at the end of the day, nagkakaintindihan naman po tayo that to balance the needs of the consumer, to balance the needs of the manufacturers, there has to be a compromise in between. Ang assurance naman ni Secretary sa kanila, hindi naman din sila papayagan na malugi naman ng sobra-sobra.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. 6 groups have signaled their intention to become NAIA's private operator. The potential bidders are Indian conglomerate GMR Airports International, San Miguel Holdings Corporation, the Manila International Airport Consortium, Spark 888 Management, Asian Airport Consortium, and Turkish conglomerate Cengiz Insat. Now, the Transportation Department said these groups have already purchased bid documents and that more potential bidders are expected. The agency hopes to award the contract for the 170 billion peso NAIA rehab project by January. The PPP project will cover all 4 terminals of NAIA, its runways, and all related infrastructures. Gilas Pilipinas won its only tune-up game before the 19th Asian Games. The national team showed their might against Korean Basketball League runner-up LG Sakers at the Full Sports Arena on Friday. It was a tight game throughout that ended with a victory for Gilas 86-81. Despite the win, the team is still waiting for the decision of the Hangzhou Asian Games Organizing Committee over the final roster for Gilas. Earlier this week, the Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas announced that Terence Romeo, Calvin Abueva, Jason Perkins, and Mo Tautua may not be allowed to play due to eligibility issues.
We're told they're still working on it, and we'll have a definitive time by the 24th. But by and large, we got our 12 right now, and that's who we're going to continue to practice with.
The national team hopes to convert the momentum from their tune-up game to a win as they head to China this Sunday. Their Asian Games campaign will begin on September 26th against Bahrain. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.